Welcome to the Devy Degens, where we talk ball at the college level. Who's rising, who's falling, and who's under the radar? I'm SC, that's Tommy, and we are the Devy Scouts.
Breaking down the hate, man, we call it like we see it. Finding all the gems while the rest just sleeping. Freshmen to the league, we ahead of the curve. Picking out the next star, put them on the reserve. From the big time schools to the deep cut finds. Gotta know who's next when it's draft day time. Stock rising, playmaking, watch them ball out. Devy Degens, yeah, no doubt. Yo, it's time to talk the future Devy style. Prospects rising, diamonds shining. Only the real ones grinding. Welcome to the Devy Degens, let's go. Let's go!
Woo, buddy. Man, it feels good to be back. Tommy, how you doing, my guy?
That intro's hot, man. It's hot. Bring that heat in this kitchen.
Man.
Let's get it.
We had to bring it in for the Devy Degens, right? For those that have been following the Degens community, we're back. We're here. We're here to bring you, like the song said, break or tearing down the hate. You know, we say it like it is. That's really what you're going to get here. We're going to give you our honest takes. We're not, some of our takes may be with consensus, and some of them may be off the radar. But to start that, you know, we're going to get in the kitchen. We're going to cook up some stuff and just get right into the heat, right? If you can't handle the heat, get out the kitchen. We love it. We're going to stay into it. So let's start off with some hot takes that we have. One of my big ones for this upcoming season at the college level is Cade Klubnik is just going to have a career year. I think he's from high school, he was a top prospect coming out. You know, he is one of the top-rated quarterbacks of his class. Had some struggles. We understand that Dabo didn't do necessarily the things that they needed to do at Clemson, the transfer portal, not necessarily getting guys. We didn't see a bunch of movement for him, and it's really impacted Klubnik's game. But I think that's all about to change. I think it's about to rise up for him. He's going to go in there and make some big moves for himself. He has Antonio Williams. He has Brian Wesco. He has TJ Moore, a solid wide receiving core where I really think this could be a season where he throws like 50 TDs. He takes Clemson to the ACC championships, wins that, and we may even this isn't my true take, but it's like we may see him in the national championship. I just think that they're set up for success. They have a lot of things happening. What do you think about that take with Cade Klubnik just having a career year this season?
I don't doubt he has a career year. That 50 touchdowns is a little spicy, but you know that's that's on up there. But you know, the way I look at it, Klubnik really hasn't had the weapons the way he does now. If you look at it, you know, his freshman and well, mainly his sophomore year, because his freshman year he didn't really start until the till the tail end of the season. But his sophomore year, he just didn't have the weapons. I mean, he was throwing to Bo Collins, Adam Randall, both those guys just were major disappointments. Then you look at what he had this past year. You know, Bryant Wesco, TJ Moore, Antonio Williams. All those guys are legit. You know, he had Jake Brenningstool at the tight end spot. All those guys were legit. So you're able to see what he's able to do with big time weapons.
For sure. And you know, you hit those guys. I mean, Wesco and TJ Moore as two freshmen both came in pretty hot this past season. Antonio Williams led the way, which is rightfully so, 75 receptions, 904 yards. Then you had Wesco come in with 41 receptions behind them, Moore with 45, and they both had over 650 yards. So there's a lot of great things to say. And we know Klubnik can lead a team. We know he has that leadership mentality. We know he has the mindset, you know, the quarterback mindset, the true quarterback elite mindset. If he throws an interception, he goes off, shakes it off, comes back in, and then balls out, right? We've seen him do it. And with there's no more Cam Ward, right? He's going pro. So you have an opportunity in the ACC to go out there and dominate. And we know this quarterback class is coming up. That's, you know, future series talking about this class and stuff. We know it's going to be a heavy quarterback class in the 2026 one. Klubnik has an opportunity, though, to make this his class, to make this, you know, I'm the guy that's been on everyone's radar since I came out of high school. I need to show I can do this. And like you mentioned, the weapons that he has right now are unlike any other one that he has had in the past. So this is just going to be a great opportunity for him to go out there and succeed and really show what he can do, right? Yeah. I mean, it's similar to an Ewers, but I think he has a lot more opportunity in front of him where a lot of people were still off on Ewers before this past season happened. Klubnik, I think there's still hope. I think people still have that hope for him, and having this type of career or this type of season potentially is going to raise his stock tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at what else is in the ACC. You're going to have Carson Beck coming into Miami. Kyron Drones over at Virginia Tech. Darian Mensah at Duke. Kevin Jennings at SMU, I guess. Yeah. But other than that, I don't see a whole lot of exciting quarterbacks there in the ACC. So Klubnik and Carson Beck are, by far and away the two best quarterbacks in that conference.
For sure. And I think without doing a deep dive into the full receiver rooms, they potentially had the best wide receiver room in the ACC. With Clemson, what he has. So I think that's going to be great things for him. I'm excited to see what he does this year. And trust me, I mean, in my C2C leagues, I have some shares of him as well. In Devy leagues, I have some shares of him as well. But I am definitely going to try to buy in on him before the season begins because I think he can end up being a first-round prospect when it's all said and done. But that's enough of my first take. Tommy, what's one of your hot takes that you're cooking in the kitchen?
Harrison Wallace transferred into Ole Miss from Penn State. He will solidify himself as a top 5 wide receiver in the 2026 draft class.
Okay.
His athleticism, his legit 4.4 speed, just kind of makes him everything Lane Kiffin wanted in Juice Wells. Just Juice Wells could never deliver that just because of lingering injury issues. He had that bad foot,
right?
And that just really kind of hampered him. But I think Harrison Wallace is going to be everything he wanted Juice Wells to be.
Right. Harrison Wallace too was. You look at the tape that he has. He's a very crisp route runner. Like you mentioned, the athleticism is there, 100%. The speed is there too. You see it. When he has that open space, he can make guys miss with the speed alone. But that crispness is something I think that's going to do well for him because he is able to make nice and smooth cuts to make your guys miss or to find that soft spot in zone coverage and have the opportunity to gain more yards for the team. And you speak about Ole Miss. Who are they losing? A top prospect in this year's class in Trey Harris, right? So you have someone that can easily just go in and replicate it, and he has an opportunity to take that role and being one of the leader wide receivers in a Lane Kiffin offense that will use their wide receivers to the best of their abilities as well.
Yeah, well, they also lost Jordan Watkins is also leaving, so they're really going to rely on guys like Harrison Wallace, who was the guy from Oklahoma State, Stribling, also transferred in there. Caleb Cunningham, the 5-star wide receiver. Everybody's still going to be waiting on Aiden Williams to step up and do something. But I think Harrison Wallace is going to be relied upon heavily, and Lane Kiffin likes to throw the ball, so watch for Austin Simmons to have a big year with him.
Yeah. And I think, you brought up Simmons, great point in there because we know Jaxson Dart's leaving as well. So this is a prospect I would say that don't necessarily expect fireworks to start. It may be a rough beginning, right, as they try to build that chemistry up together and do it. But yet they still have that firepower. They still do have some nice receivers. You brought in Stribling as well. Stribling can stretch the field for them. I think Wallace can be more of their underneath guy and, again, making those plays happen, their playmaker on the field. But as they progress, they could be a threat. I wouldn't say they're as much as a threat right now when you had Dart and Harris at the helm because they've had chemistry built together. So we're going to see that growth, but it's going to be some consistent growth throughout the season where we could end up seeing, like you mentioned, a top 5 potential season for him to just go in there and do it. And, what he did do at Penn State, he's going to be doing here, right? And I know Penn State's a Power 4, but let's be real. When you're playing in the SEC, that is the most coverage you're getting because everyone knows SEC balls out. I mean, you don't have to worry about when you play them because they're going to beat themselves up anyways, right? So they're going to go in there and have good competition.
Also with him, he's coming from a very run-heavy offense. I mean, anytime you got Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, that's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be running the ball. Right. So they really didn't throw the ball all over the place. It's going to.
Right. And this is going to be an opportunity for them. And like you said, this is his time to showcase. And I'm glad you brought that up because when you think about players transitioning to teams, like regardless of what they did at their previous school, you have to look at that offense, right? So he didn't have career number or high heavy stats if you want to look at the stat sheets. But you also have to understand Penn State was a run heavy offense. None of the wide receivers necessarily took it to that next level to be
because they also had Tyler Warren. So
right. another one that hogged the targets, right? You talk about Warren being a top prospect, right? We know Singleton and Allen came back. He took that and saw, okay, well, I'm going to go somewhere that will want to pass the ball, will want to feature me in the offense more so than what this does. And again, it's business, right? You got to make your own opportunities to go out there and shine. So yep. I'm excited to see what he can do. Ole Miss is, they're hurting. They're going to lose a lot of people in the draft, but it's an opportunity for them to go out there and say, hey, we're the next era. We're the next guys up here for them. We have one more take. I say one because we both have one, but this one kind of goes hand in hand. And this is the Big 12, man. The Big 12, you have top end linebackers. I think the Big 12 is filled with great linebackers there. They have solid running games. And with that, they are losing a lot of running backs in this year's draft. I think one player that's going to benefit from his person in front of him on the depth chart, and DJ Giddens from Kansas State, I think Dylan Edwards is about to lead the Big 12 running backs in just all-purpose yards. I know Giddens is gone, right? So that leaves him much of opportunity. Edwards has the opportunity to be the lead back. He's an explosive back, has great receiving skills. I think he leads the Big 12 in all-purpose yards for the running back position. Do you agree with that?
Man, I'm about to hit you with this lead torso. Not so fast, my friend. Quintin Joyner is going to be the best running back in the Big 12 this year. He's transferred over from Southern Cal into Texas Tech. He's going to follow in Taj Brooks' footsteps. But, he's got better speed and a better overall NFL outlook than what Taj Brooks does. Also watch out for Bryson Washington. He's not getting enough love in the Devy community. I think he's really going to put up special numbers. He's got a little bit of kind of that little bit of a Dylan Sampson build to him. Yeah. A little bit of a low to the ground, able to shift, be a little shifty, have a little bit of speed to him.
Right.
Also, if you like Devin Neal, you're going to like Bryson Washington. And then while we're on the discussion of Big 12 running backs, Kanye Udo transferred him from Army. It's going to have a monster year taking over for Scadaboo over at Arizona State.
Oh yeah, no, I mean. See, so let's talk about some of the running backs you hit. Quintin Joyner. I loved Quintin Joyner when I was watching his tape when he was USC. Woody Marks, we'll talk about him later. But Quintin Joyner, like you mentioned, has the build. I'm not against Taj Brooks. That's something else for a little bit later too. But you're right. He can fit into those footsteps, and he's more athletic with the same speed, with the same bully power, if you will, to power through the lines and make plays happen like Taj Brooks was. So he has opportunity to definitely go in there and make a name for himself. Bryson Washington, Baylor doesn't get enough love in general, and Baylor does have a good system in place. Washington is a part of that. And he was a freshman last year, if I'm not mistaken.
He was a redshirt freshman last year, yeah.
So redshirt, I mean, this kid, shout out my Texas guys, right? But he 6 foot, 200 pounds or so, definitely a beast. Definitely has that home run type of speed. If he gets in that open field, he can definitely go out there as well. And Kenyon Udo, another back that has an opportunity to go in there and fill in some big shoes, right? Cam Scadaboo, the benefit is Scadaboo had some recognition to his name before the season. Shout out our guy Nino Brown. He was one that put me on Scadaboo before the season happened. A lot of people didn't know about him till later in, and they're like, "Wait, who's this guy?" Udo could be the same thing, and it's possibly you have Levesque going there, right? So you have a good offensive mind, as far as the quarterback. Now you have a good, reliable running back that could go in there and get the opportunity as well. So it could be all cylinders. And I think what we're saying in this take, as I mentioned, Dylan Edwards, you brought up Quintin Joyner, we brought up Bryson Washington, we brought up Udo. The Big 12 has some hitters. The Big 12 has some guys at the running back position where, at least in the Devy community or the C2C community, these are guys you might want to roster on your teams because they can simply go in there and make the big plays happen, and they can definitely make you have a championship type of run.
Right. And, I'm not going to argue against Dylan Edwards. I just think the one argument I have against him is his size. It's really going to be difficult at 170 pounds to, be able to be a lead, back. So
for sure. And that's where that explosive comes in, especially at the college level. Like we talk about player profilers, just a little plug in there, player profilers, right? We talk about these type of guys that I don't necessarily know if I'm going to be calling them come the rookie season, when it comes to NFL type. But we're talking about this season in college. These are some players that have some opportunity for it. And at college level, that size isn't as big to me. Like, it's not the pro prospect I want. but he has the speed and the ability to get open in space and to make defenders miss, and not to mention his pass catching ability. He's going to see the field often, at least, and change the pace even to be on there and make some plays as well. So that's where I came at from it. But yeah, if we want to talk about the pro builds, we may not talking about him unless he runs 4-2. Then it's like, oh wait, baby, this is another out chain or something like that, right? So a lot of these can happen from then and now for these type of guys. That was us in the kitchen, man. I hope that wasn't too hot for y'all. Y'all stayed with us because, like I said, we're gonna get heated as this show and series continues on here. But speaking of rookies or freshman impacts and things like that, Tommy, answer this question for me. Are you wanting to draft winning teams like right now, and are you looking for something that can help you get in those rookies?
Oh man, absolutely. If you're tired of waiting on rookie drafts, you want to get a taste in the build, and build a portfolio that you're able to use in season, head on over to Fast Draft, enter in our promo DGEN, that's DEGEN, and get a $25 deposit.
There you go. We're going to drop a little video for y'all as well, just so y'all know what we're talking about when we say Fast Draft.
Rookie. It's all about rookie talk in fantasy football right now. So why not go use all that knowledge to do something other than a mock draft? Chris Jimino won $8,000 with just 2 teams last year, and each draft took 5 minutes. That's pretty good ROI. You can start doing rookie drafts for money today on Fast Draft. The Origins tournament is live. It is the place to go and monetize your knowledge of rookies and use your favorite player profiler host promo code for a $25 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
There you go. Let's start drafting faster. As you mentioned, the promo code for DGEN is DEGEN for you to get that $25 match, on your initial deposit. That's exciting, man. I mean, he said 2 drafts, 5 minutes each. That's 10 minutes, won $8K. Yeah, I'll take that any day if I can put in 10 minutes of work and win $8K.
Bro, we're going to be on that all off season leading up to draft season. Tell me about it.
Hopefully you are not in my leagues because I'm about to smoke everybody that's in my leagues there. But moving on, we have questions, or y'all may have questions too, and we're going to have the answers for y'all. So right now we're going to kick off a Q&A segment for us. And my first one is for you, Tommy. True or false? Devin Neal, Kansas running back, will be a top 5 running back of this class.
I kind of have it as a false right now. There's so many running backs in this draft class. He's right outside the top 5 for me. Right outside. I mean, you got so many guys. I mean, you're probably rolling 15, 17, 20 deep guys who could have some type of future in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So even being outside the top 5 doesn't disqualify him from having a good career.
Right. 100%. And I'm gonna counter that, man. I love everything about Devin Neal. I mean, we've talked in the past, and I said he's one of the most underrated backs in this class 2 years ago, and I still think that's true to this day. His combine numbers were not great. It was anything that made him a shiny star, but in my opinion, the combine shouldn't hurt a player's outlook. It should only help players, right? And that's where I feel with Devin Neal, because I think he ran like a 4.6 40, so it wasn't great.
4.6, it came out a little slow, but what you have to do when you're looking at these combine numbers is you also have to match it up with film. Mm-hmm. If he's a guy who had really good film, and just because he doesn't have that long speed doesn't mean he doesn't have good initial burst. Go look at that first 10-yard split. Right. I guarantee you it was among the better ones. Right.
And he saw that, man. He's consistently shown out for Kansas. Well, one thing that I think plays the fact to some GMs, unfortunately, is they look at the overall record for the team and they don't look at the individual player. Because you put Devin Neal on Miami, you put Devin Neal in Oregon, he's getting national recognition. But he's on Kansas that like 2-3 game wins. That's it. I don't even think they had that.
I think they went 5 and 7. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like you have them, a team that used the running game, that used him, but yet they had nothing else on offense. It was just him, and he still balled out. He had 3,000-yard seasons. He's a phenomenal athlete. I love everything he does. He has great contact balance. He can has the agility to make your guys miss. He's a great pass catching running back as well. I think there is a world Will it be this world? I don't know, but I think there is a world where he can be a top 5 running back in this class. As you mentioned, it is a deep class, so I get where you're saying that from, and I don't think he's going to be one taken in the first 2 rounds. I would take him if I'm a GM because I love his profile so far, but he is going to be someone that I think you're going to end up getting a steal. I will say that right now. If you draft him, you're going to get a steal because he's potentially going like 203, between 203 and 212, I would say. Like, I don't know if he's 201, 202, but he's going within that mid, late second round, I feel, and I think that is a steal of your rookie drafts here. Tommy, what's the question you have for me?
Okay. Who is the best quarterback in this year's draft, and why is it Jaxson Dart?
Oh man, who is the best quarterback in this year's class? It's Cam Ward. That's my honest thought. But I get where Jaxson Dart's coming from. Jaxson Dart's consistently show progression, but so is Cam Ward, man. I think Cam Ward, of all the quarterbacks in this class, he's kind of faced the most adversity, and he's consistently gotten better to help himself get to an ACC team in Miami and lead them to a great season. But why do you think Jaxson Dart is the best quarterback in this class?
Well, let me preface it by saying this. I've been a Cam Ward guy since he showed up at Washington State. Going back to a couple years ago at the Devy at the Fantasy Football Expo, we did a Devy panel, and I was all over Cam Ward, and people were questioning why. I was like, just go look at the film. And now here it is 2 years later, and he's looked at as being the possible number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. So I'm not saying this to bash Cam Ward at all. I'm a big time Cam Ward guy. But Jaxson Dart is a proven winner. Okay. He's done it in the best conference in the country. So he's facing competition. He's facing elite competition nearly every week, and put up massive numbers while doing it. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to say, well, he's a system quarterback. He's this, he's that. You know, he didn't really do a whole lot when he was at USC. But, you know, he was a freshman when he was at USC. He transferred in to play for Lane Kiffin, who knows how to coach elite quarterbacks. And if you look at it, he's not – his skills aren't – they're not significantly below what Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders can do. But in my opinion, he doesn't have the red flags that Shedeur Sanders does. And he has a better winning pedigree than what Cam Ward does. Right. So in my opinion, I think Jaxson Dart is probably the safest play.
So I want to hit on a few things there. First, you said he's a system quarterback. My response to that when people say that. So
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. People are going to say that about him.
And that's my point. Is like, if someone says he's a system quarterback, so if he gets in the right system, does he automatically be that? Like that happens, right? We see teams or quarterbacks that go to a bad system consistently and they go somewhere else and then they ball out. Look at what Darnold did. Look at what Geno did in Seattle. You have these quarterbacks that do it, and maybe it's some years out, but for this class in general, we may not know what we have as a rookie when it starts, right? I think we got.
Also, if you look at it, the NFL is a copycat league. The NFL takes a lot of what they do from the college, from the college level. So why wouldn't you want an elite college quarterback to come in and be your quarterback in the NFL? And Jaxson Dart was an elite college quarterback.
So here's 2 questions for you. I'm gonna piggyback off your Jaxson Dart statement. Is he a first-round quarterback?
Yeah, matter of fact, I've seen mocks where quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so let's play off that 1, 2, 3. Who is that? That's Tennessee, the Browns, and the Giants. Okay, quarterbacks are jumbled in. You're the guy. You're the GM for each one, or you're the GM for whatever team you want. Where do you want Jaxson Dart? What team do you think gives him the best outlook? I would say Cleveland's out. I don't want him to go to Cleveland necessarily.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to go to Cleveland. If he goes to the Titans, there's not a whole lot of wide receivers to work with there. So if I'm picking, I'd want to go to the Giants just because you got Malik Neighbors, right?
Yeah, that's true for sure.
You have an elite weapon there, to start your career with.
I don't. Do you honestly think he's a top 3 pick.
I think he's the best quarterback in the draft. So yeah.
Okay, fair. I don't think I think this is the type of season where we hype up quarterbacks, all this stuff. I don't know if there's 2 taken in the top 5. I mean, I just, I think Tennessee takes one. Granted, I think they could take Abdul Carter, but I think Tennessee does take one, and I think we see some slides, and it goes. I do want to highlight on this too, because you brought up why, who's the best quarterback in this class? Why is it Jaxson Dart? I rebutted, said it's Cam Ward. I think a lot of people would be, is disappointed the right word that we didn't mention, Primetime himself and Shedeur Sanders? Why is Sanders not?
I've got major questions with him. His maturity level. He just does some things that just major red flags, especially if you're looking at him being the face of your franchise. Mm-hmm. A guy who throws teammates under the bus the way he did at Colorado with his offensive line. Right. Just him, being as brash as he is. I just don't see a whole lot of organizations wanting that as the face of their franchise.
Now, would you say that off-season things going on, the maturity, I would argue Caleb Williams is almost in that same boat as far as that, because we have seen some similar things like that, but Caleb Williams was the better prospect, right?
Caleb Williams was an elite prospect. Shedeur Sanders has never been an elite level prospect. Right. He's got good skills, but if you look at it, his red flags are different than what Caleb Williams were. Caleb Williams was, can he handle the pressure of it? Mm-hmm. Whereas Shedeur Sanders is, can you deal with all the stuff that comes along with him? Right. He has a lot of baggage.
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully this is the time, because I feel to our knowledge, right? Well, I mean, it's happening because he's not going to Dallas, but prime time and Deion Sanders is staying in Colorado. This is going to be one of the first times where Shedeur is getting coached by someone that wasn't his dad. So it's really going to be a testament to whoever takes the sense. We believe in what we see on the film. We believe your dad taught you what you need to be an elite football player. Granted, they play different positions, but this is a big mark for him, because even after year 1, we could start getting some questions, and maybe then we see whatever team drafts him says, you know what, Prime, we want you to be our head coach next, because you know what to do.
Right, because Prime has coached him ever since high school.
Right. At every college level, he was with him. When he first started college, all the way to Colorado. So, I do get the idea of having Shedeur as your QB1. Again, a couple of years ago, I had him. Last year, I had him as like QB1, and then this season is like start looking more into the tape. There are some things happening where other quarterbacks do it better. Granted, he is someone that he can sell merchandise. I think he could go in there. You can get that type of hype from him to sell that merchandise, but it's also so I don't know if he's going to go in there and turn around the team.
Well, he also has that kind of implosion potential, like Ryan Leaf. Where
I wouldn't say that bad, but
if somebody comes at him the wrong way in some type of questioning situation, right, like a reporter in a locker room, what's going to be his? It's going to be his response. Is he going to flip out, or is he going to be cool about it? I mean, you just don't really know.
Right, for sure. That's fair. It's safe to say, though, rankings aside, the top 3 are Jaxson Dart, Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward.
I would go Dart, Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders.
Okay. But top 3 in general.
Top 3, yeah, top 3.
Okay, that's fair. I have Cam, Shedeur, and Dart, but they're all Cam slightly ahead, and then Shedeur and Dart are super close. And I think whoever goes to the Browns goes to my QB3. So there's that.
Right, yeah.
That's just an automatic there. But another question I have for you here, Tommy, is one of the best kept secrets in this year's draft. We said it before, or said his name earlier. Running back from Texas Tech, Taj Brooks.
Yeah, I mean, you're able to say that about a lot of guys. Taj Brooks is fantastic. Any other year, he would be a top 5 running back in that particular draft class. He's just not this year, because you got so many guys. I mean, you got we mentioned him earlier, Devin Neal, right, Dylan Sampson, right, Damian Martinez, Cam Scattaboo. DJ Giddens. I mean, you just got so many dudes in this draft. I mean, imagine if Nick Singleton and Katron Allen had come out. Imagine, Jaden Ott. I mean, guys literally returned to college because this class was so loaded.
Yeah.
So I mean, Taj Brooks is a dude now.
Right. I agree. And you mentioned earlier, like we're talking maybe 20 deep, where I've said it constantly. In these rookie drafts, when you get to round 3 and round 4, don't overthink it. Just draft the running back. Don't get your wide receivers in that race. Don't get your quarterbacks. Get the running backs.
Well, you're able to wait on running back. Take an elite wide receiver in the first or second round. Wait until the third or fourth round on running back because there's going to be so many dudes there that are legit high level guys.
Right. And Taj Brooks, man, I think he's under the radar. Like, no, I know there's Gentia, I know there's Junkins, I know Caleb Johnson, I know the top guys that people are talking about. People aren't talking about Taj Brooks. Like he didn't just do back-to-back seasons of over 1,500 yards. Like he didn't just plummet through everything that it was in his way at Texas Tech. Give this guy the football. Watch him be a bowling ball, and every time he gets the ball, it's a strike. Like he's knocking down pins as far as the defense. He's going through and making holes himself. If his line's not making it, guess what? He's going to carry the ball efficiently. He's going to power through you, and he's going to get his yards. That's what a grown man does, and that's what Taj Brooks does.
Yeah, he kind of gives me Ray Rice vibes.
I love it. Love it. That's a fantastic comp. And I think we say this because, we talk about past draft classes. The 2027 draft class, one of the top ones. That's the one that had, Kamara, Hunt, a bunch of great prospects that came in. I think James Conner was in that one as well. Solid prospects. This is going to be that class where you look at draft capital and everything, your day 3 picks, you normally you got to be, hesitant on them. You're not sure. This is the class where I'm not even looking at the draft capital. Yeah, I know that plays an impact. So let me back up a little bit. I know that plays an impact. But I know these guys are efficient. I know these guys are going to hit. I know these are some guys that give them the opportunity and they can make some things happen. Taj Brooks is one of them. Like, I know people love Scadaboo. Scadaboo's really fast. He's really quick. He has the same type of playing style in a sense because he's a bully running back as well. He knows he gets physical. Taj Brooks is that. He's not as fast as Scadaboo. He's not as efficient as a pass catcher, I'd say, as Scadaboo. But he is someone that he can be a 3-down back. He has the build. He gets the opportunity. Like, let Cleveland pass on running backs and get him in the 4th or 5th round. I would absolutely love that, especially if Chubb doesn't go back. That would be fantastic, right? Let a team like a New England get him, and Ramondre Stevenson goes down, and guess what? Taj Brooks easily becomes the best back in that situation, right? I would love these opportunities for him. And even if the room's crowded, this is the running back class for – to be honest, there's very few landing spots where I'm like, I don't know if I want to take them if they go here. But if the play style matches, fantastic, because there's so much versatility in the running back position this year, where you have guys that are excellent in pass catching. You have guys that are excellent in running 3 downs. You have guys that are just excellent at the goal line. You have guys that have very unique skill sets, but yet versatility where if you need them, they can do all the other things as well.
Well, and also this running back class is going to push older running backs out of the league,
right?
Because they're not going to. Why would a team go and sign a 28, 29, 30-year-old running back right now,
right,
when you can draft a 21, 22-year-old who's better?
Right. 100%. I think for me, just off the top, the only running backs that are safe right now that I could think of right now are Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, those are the only two right there. As far as, like, if they draft a running back, I'm not worried about what it's going to do for them. Like, other teams, they draft a running back, right? You talk about CMC, you talk about Shaquan. I know Shaquan had a great year, but you talk about these guys where it's like, if they draft a running back, I'm going to try to sell these guys this season to go ahead and be like, okay, I'm going to get these guys back up then. Because if injury, something happens, these rookies are going to come in and take that spot.
Right. Imagine Baltimore drafts like a Quinshon Judkins in the, late in the second round.
Don't play games with my heart.
Now all of a sudden you have an aging Derrick Henry,
right?
Who's what, 30 now?
Yeah, 31. I think he's on the North.
Yeah.
Not 30 yet.
So I mean, he's on the wrong side of the age,
Right.
on that age line.
Right.
So imagine they go and draft a Quinshot Judkins, who is nearly the same type of dude. He's not as big,
Yeah.
but he's a powerful runner who's going to fit that offense to a T.
Oh yeah.
So they could easily allow Derrick Henry to walk going into that following season, and still have Quinshot Judkins who could come in and fill that role.
I'll tell you what, if Baltimore were to take Quinshot Judkins, I hope people are like, oh, Derrick Henry's there. There's no way he's getting. I hope he slips. I would eat that up all day. Wherever I'm at in the draft, I would be like, that's the guy I want. Because like you just said, that's the system. Yeah, that's the system.
Yeah.
100%. That's man, you're playing too many games with my heart right now. That'll be that's just a daydream. I took a second to daydream about that right there. But that'll be fantastic, man. I'd absolutely love that. But I was talking about, sleeper running back. I think you have a question for me too. What's that question?
Yeah, who is the best wide receiver? Who's the best wide receiver in this draft that people aren't talking about enough?
So I know your answer, and I'll just say this because I agree with you. Earlier, you could follow me on X at the PPR. So earlier this year, maybe in end of 2024, I said Restrepo was this year's Amon-Ra. Now let me clarify that. I know Amon-Ra is a top receiver in the league. I know Amon-Ra is doing great things. I'm not necessarily saying Restrepo's gonna go out there and have those type of numbers, but when Amon-Ra was drafted, I got him at like 302, 303. People weren't talking about him. They just weren't in love with him for whatever reason. And I absolutely love that guy. And that's why for me, Restrepo is also what it is. I absolutely love Xavier Restrepo and what he could do. And I'm ecstatic for him because I know I can get him later than what I should be getting him for. I know I can get him later. But what are your thoughts on Restrepo?
Xavier Restrepo is the correct answer there, by the way. He's the prototypical slot, great hands. He's got enough juice to fool defenders into a false sense of comfort. People sleep on his agility, on his route running, on his speed. Those defenders start coming up on him, he's going to burn them. Yeah.
He has fantastic hands, man. He can go out there and make the plays. He has fantastic hip control. I've seen some plays where the ball's thrown this way, he's just, stretched out and making the play happen, right? And then he has the agility to, like you mentioned, put those defenders in a discomfort type of environment to be like, I don't know what I do, and they freeze up, and he's already gone an extra 10 yards, right? Yeah. So where do you think, as far as NFL capital, where do you think he potentially goes? Like, not necessarily pick wise, but like round wise.
Third, fourth round, something like that.
I think
probably third round.
I think third. Unfortunately, I know there's again we talk about hype. I know there's people are all of a sudden all on Jaden Higgins, right? They like him. There's other wide receivers, that have shown some great things at the combine too. Restrepo has been doing it. Restrepo's a nice wide receiver. He's a smooth wide receiver, one of those silky guys, if you will. And he has that kind of the swag, if you will. Like I know people were high on Ricky Purcell last year. I know people still are, especially with the loss of what they're doing with Debo's gone, and we don't know what's happening with Ike necessarily. I think Restrepo is better than Purcell. And I would, if someone wants to trade that, I would do that. I think Restrepo has an opportunity in front of him to be a solid wide receiver at the next level.
Well, I think they're very similar. I think they're very similar players. They're both tough. They're both, they don't care to go over the middle, make those tough catches and get hit. I mean, hell, you saw it over and over and over again with Ricky Pearsall, making one-handed catches across the middle of the field, just getting blasted. Dude got shot and came back 3 weeks later. I mean, it's like
that's true.
It's like, come on, dude. Xavier Restrepo is the same type. Xavier Restrepo is the same type of guy, just tough. People say Jawan Jennings has that dog in him, and he does. The Pearsall and Restrepo are very, they got that kind of to them too.
Oh yeah, they will go out there and ball out and show what they can do. I absolutely love it. Is there, as far as rookie drafts, where are you comfortable taking him, and where do you think you will end up taking him, just doing how the draft falls?
It really depends on landing spot, honestly. If I was drafting right now, I'd probably take him more the middle to end of the second round. I'm not letting him fall into the third because As soon as I do that, he's going to get sniped.
Yeah.
But I'm really comfortable taking him middle to mid to late round of the second.
We could see, you talked about, a team in Tennessee that doesn't really have a lot to work with as far as receivers. We could see them go Cam Ward, and then, come that second or third, pretty sure they pick them both. They pair them up with their team, right? I mean, and we see that time and time again where players or teams draft the quarterback and wide receiver because they're like, we don't want you to have to build up chemistry. We know you got it. We're going to go ahead and take your guy. So, I mean, I think that shoots him up tremendously in drafts to potentially early second, simply because he has his college quarterback. And you already know there's nothing to work with, right?
Yeah,
he already has it.
Yeah, just look at Denver.
Right.
Troy Franklin and Bo Nix together.
Right. That was the fourth round, and hopefully, I mean, we'll see what happens with Franklin. He was nice going on. They use him a lot this year, but that'll be a different discussion for it. But no, I agree. I love Restrepo. I think he's going to do some great things and make plays happen. Now, as far as my last question here, this was just something I actually saw on X, and I was curious to get your opinion, and I'll give mine as well. But who was your, and this is hopefully this doesn't give away your age, who was your team's starting quarterback when you first became a fan of college football?
Well, I'm straight up going to give away my age because I'm going to tell you how old I was and what year. So I was 8 years old in 1991. My father and my stepmother were about to get married. It was the day of their wedding. My father and I were at my uncle's apartment. We were watching the Tennessee and Notre Dame game. It's now known as the Miracle at South Bend. Tennessee was down 31-7 in that game. Andy Kelly led the Vols back, won 35-34. Just being a UT guy my entire life. I have family who went to UT. We were in Memphis at the time. It was the day of my dad and my stepmom's wedding. Like I said, we were just getting ready, watching the game, and that was my first remembrance of becoming a college football fan when I was 8 years old.
There you go, man. I love it. I love it. Big day for your dad. Congrats to them. And then big day for you just being in awe watching that. And I'm glad you said UT because I'm going to talk about the real UT here.
No. We're not doing that. Don't even go there. Real, Texas wouldn't even be a state without us, man.
But mine goes back to 2006, and you gave your age, so I'll say mine. I was 15 at the time. Was Vince Young in the Rose Bowl against USC. That was the year I really got into it, really just started seeing it. I really loved what I saw in Vince Young all the way through the season, enjoyed it. But that game specifically, Sports Illustrated, I remember having the cover, "The Night Was Young" or "The Night Is Young." He was invincible, right? I remember specifically, I'm watching it at my house. I remember we had cord phones, right, back in the day, for those that don't know. And I call up my buddy, and I'm like, "Are you watching this?" And I am on my knees in front of my TV watching the final drive where Vince Young is taking the Longhorns down the field. This is – we talk about – they had Lendale White, they had Reggie Bush, they had Matt Leinart on the opposite side, right? They had some dogs on USC, and USC was one of the better teams at that time as well. It did not faze Vince Young. He took that ball all the way down and ended up coming back to win that game 41-38 at the Rose Bowl. And man, it was just a spectacular just see that you're just like, I think it was like a 20-yard run that he ran into the end zone. And you just see it and you're like, wow, bro, this was like you mentioned, your game so close, my game so close. That's why we watch the game, right? That's why we watch these football games, because we love that excitement of going. We're biting our nails in nervousness because we're like, is this really happening? This is about to happen. And it does. It doesn't always work out like that. Sometimes they throw an interception at the end zone. And you're like, are you kidding me? You throw your TV, or you see the videos of people smashing their TVs. In those situations, though, me and you both were, I'm assuming, cheering, up and down, excited, and we're like, this college football thing is real, and this is where we start to love it, right? So, great memory. You had great memory. I had. That's gonna be a different discussion. I think we're going to talk about is who's the real UT, and we'll break it down for the viewers here.
I already know who the real UT is, so we don't have to have that conversation.
No, when we talk about player profiles, as we mentioned Andy Kelly and Vince Young there. Don't forget, if you're looking for like up-to-date position or profiles on every position, you don't need to look any further. You use Player Profiler, expert analysis, breaking down, positions, talking what's happening in the NFL, like the biggest free agent moves and just so much more. So you check out Player Profiler today. Use promo code DGEN, DEGEN, for $25 off your premium subscription. Don't forget to use that Player Profiler. Go check them out as well. Now, before we head out here, this is the time where we talk about our guys, right? This is a time of season where there's guys you're higher on, guys you're lower on. So we're going to give y'all two of our guys that we really enjoy. I'm going to start it off with my guy here first. And we kind of mentioned him a little bit. That's going to be USC running back Woody Marks. Love his agility in the open field, excellent pass catching skills, displays enough vision to find open holes effortlessly. I was high on Marks on Lloyd. I know Lloyd has Jacobs in front of him. I'm high on Woody Marks too, man. I love what I see on the film for this guy. I think he could be a dog. And you mentioned he's going to be someone that's going to be a later pick. I've seen him in the third. I've seen him in the fourth round of some rookie drafts. I'm taking him if he's there, though. He's one of my top favorite running backs. So I think he's a definite steal as well. What are your thoughts on Marks?
Yeah, he definitely showed the ability to run the ball a little bit more than what he had in the past this past season. Transferring in from Mississippi State to USC, he wasn't really known as that kind of in between the tackles runner. He was always known as the the screen guy, the pass catcher, get out in the open space. Goes to USC and then finds the ability to run a little bit more. Mainly because that was kind of more of the offense that they're at USC. When he was at Mississippi State, that wasn't really the offense. They were more of that, Mike Leach style offense. He goes to USC, able to run the ball a little bit more, showcase it. So I do like Woody Marks. Because like you said, he's definitely going to be a late round pick. Just because there's so many dudes in this class.
Yeah.
He's going to be a guy that probably latches on to a practice squad, honestly. But in dynasty leagues, you have your taxi squads, so just stash him, wait for him to come up, because he's probably definitely going to make an appearance at some point.
Yeah. I think he's one of those guys that need to happen. Now, when we talk about these later guys, let's say, if he's a 3-down back, but like you mentioned, like the screen game, he's someone that has great pass catching skills, and I would argue he has some of the better ones in the class when it comes to the running back position, right? So if they use him, again, the right team using him in the right spot or right scenarios, this is a guy that could go out there and ball and just make plays happen left and right for him. I'm excited to see where he goes. And to be taxis, you need some players on your taxi squad anyways, right? So I'm happily taking him, even if that means he's on my taxi, and I'm going to wait to see what's happening during the season for him. That's one of my guys. Who's one of your guys?
Man, my guy is... I've got a couple of them. We all know Dylan Sampson's my dude. I'm going to go in a different direction right here, though. My other guy is DJ Giddens. Good frame. Think Arian Foster, but with better speed. Has it kind of that same upright, type of running style. But he's patient, waits for his blocks to materialize, kind of like Arian Foster, Le'Veon Bell did. And he can hit a home run because he has a little bit of long speed to him. Stuff that Le'Veon Bell and Arian Foster didn't necessarily have. They had those, they were kind of short burst guys, real patient. Giddens has a little bit of home run speed to him. Doesn't have great explosiveness, but he has enough wiggle to break down defenders, and once he gets in the open field, he can take off.
Right, and the benefit that he has a little bit differently is the strength as well. He is a very strong back, and he's one of those backs that you look at his build, you're like, okay, he could be your 3 downs. And then you look at his speed, you're like, this guy shouldn't be running that quick with the pads on. Like, he should be going like that at defenders and making them miss. And again, that strength where if he needs to step for him, he get through you. But he also has that contact balance where if a guy, just bumps him in the shoulder, he's just bouncing off and continuing to go. So I absolutely love Giddens as well. Another back that I would be ecstatic to draft him because I think, we talk about Marks. Marks is a day 3 pick. I do think Giddens is a day 3 pick, but I could see him being sneaked into day 2. Like, I honestly think in this draft class, we may have 10 to 11, 12 running backs in the first 2 days. Like, that's how strong this is. And because I know, maybe not on day 1, the first round, possibly 4 max, depending on what teams want to do.
First round, you're probably looking at 2 or 3, but going into day 2, especially towards the back half of the second round into the third round, you're going to have a lot of running backs go.
There's going to be, and I want people to quote on this, there's going to be a time in the draft where there's going to be a running back wave where people are just going to take, you're going to see one or two teams take running backs, and then you're going to see those teams panic and be like, we need to go get our guy now. Like, we need to make sure this happens, because if teams have their guys, they need to not wait. Like you mentioned earlier about Restrepo, right? That you would take him, you're not going to let him get to a third. There's going to be some running backs in this draft for the NFL that are be like, we can't afford to miss this. Like, we can't wait another round. We need to take this guy now, and we'll figure the rest out later. Like, that's how solid and strong this running back class is.
That's right.
For him. Man, that was a great show. It feels good to be back, though. You know, we're with the Devy Degens, Devy Scouts. As we mentioned, don't forget that Fast Draft promo code. Go get some picks in there now. 5 minutes is all it takes, and you have a chance to win some big money. Use promo code DEGEN, DEGEN, to get an initial deposit back of $25. And Tommy, man, I'm glad to have you. We're back every Tuesday. You know, any questions for anybody watching here?
No real questions. Go follow us. Find our handles. I'm at Tom Harvey Sports on X. Go follow Dynasty Degens. Make sure you're keeping up with everything going on in the NFL draft. Make sure you're keeping up with your rookie drafts, your Devy drafts, C2C drafts, everything, man. Everything. It's nearing draft season right now. Everybody's looking forward to it. Just ready to keep this train moving, my guy.
Oh yeah, man. For the people that are waiting for it, that's why we're here for y'all to talk about the next. This is the Devy Degens. We're the Devy Scouts. I'm SC for Tommy, for the Devy Degens, and everyone else. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.